Hi guys, and welcome to my channel where I talk about all things Harry Potter related. Since the books are told from Harry Potter's point of view, it can be a bit difficult to place certain events surrounding Severus Snape. So in today's video, I'm going to explore Snape's timeline. Severus Snape is born in 1960 to a Muggle father and a wizard mother, making him a half-blood. Before starting Hogwarts, Snape encounters a girl of the same age living near the area he was living in. He notices that she also has magical abilities. This girl turns out to be a young Lily Evans who Snape is able to befriend. Snape is able to share his knowledge of the magical world and of Hogwarts. The two quickly bond. Next, we're going to explore Snape's life at Hogwarts, taking place from 1971 to 1978. In September of 1971, Severus Snape begins his life at Hogwarts. However, Snape is sorted into Slytherin, and Lily is sorted into Gryffindor, along with James Potter and Sirius Black. This makes it harder for Snape and Lily to see each other. On top of this, Severus finds himself heavily bullied by James Potter and Sirius Black. This pushes him towards becoming friends with Slytherins like Lucius Malfoy and his friends, who had darker personalities and were into the dark arts. As the school years progress, Snape is still in love with Lily and finds himself competing with James Potter for her attention. Snape is obsessed with finding ways to get at James Potter and his group of friends: Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew, the Marauders. He eventually notices that Remus is often absent from school each month and decides to find out what he's up to. Sirius Black, who becomes aware of Snape's nosing around, decides to play a prank. Sirius mentions that when Remus is missing from school, he can be found inside the Whomping Willow. Snape sees this as his chance to get back at James Potter and his friends. However, when he enters the Whomping Willow and discovers the entrance to the Shrieking Shack, he finds Lupin in his werewolf form. He gets saved by James Potter just in time. Although Snape technically has his life saved by James Potter, he feels James only saved him to save himself and Sirius Black from being expelled. Later on, towards the end of the term, Snape walks past the Marauders, immersed in thinking about the exams. James Potter and Sirius Black, who are bored, decide to have fun by bullying Snape in front of the other students. Lily interferes to stand up for Snape. However, Snape, who's embarrassed, calls her a mudblood. This upsets Lily and encourages James Potter to pick on Snape even further by undressing him in public. Later, Snape tries to apologize to Lily for calling her a mudblood. However, Lily, who has had enough of his pull towards the dark arts, as Snape has now been heavily influenced by his fellow Slytherins, doesn't accept his apology and ends their friendship. In 1978, Snape graduates from Hogwarts. However, the loss of his friendship with Lily, combined with James Potter's romance with Lily, makes Snape incredibly bitter. At this point, he is turned completely to Lord Voldemort's cause, having been swayed by Lucius Malfoy. Snape is still a young wizard, and Voldemort uses him as a spy. Voldemort used Snape to spy on Dumbledore's supporters and retrieve useful information. Early in 1980, Snape, who had been tasked with spying on Albus Dumbledore, followed him to the Hog's Head Inn, where Dumbledore was interviewing Sybil Trelawney for the divination position. During Trelawney's interview with Dumbledore, she makes a prophecy. The prophecy foretells of a child who will be born in July who will have the power to defeat Voldemort. But before Snape is able to hear the entire prophecy, he's caught spying and is kicked out by Aberforth Dumbledore, the owner of the Hog's Head Inn. Snape ends up telling Voldemort the part of the prophecy that he overheard. Voldemort thinks the prophecy refers to either James and Lily Potter's child or Frank and Alice Longbottom's child. Voldemort decides it must be the Potter's child because the child would be a half-blood like him. When Snape realizes that Voldemort could kill Lily Potter as well, Snape contacts Albus Dumbledore and reveals Voldemort's plan. Dumbledore acts on Snape's information and sends the Potters into hiding. In 1981, Dumbledore hires Snape to be the potions master. He's now working as a double agent for Dumbledore and the Order of the Phoenix. To Voldemort, it appears that Snape took the role as a professor at Hogwarts to spy on Dumbledore. Later that year, after a year of hiding, James and Lily Potter's location is exposed. Peter Pettigrew, their secret keeper, revealed their location to Voldemort. Voldemort heads to Godric's Hollow. After killing James and Lily Potter, Voldemort tries to kill Harry. However, due to the magical protection Lily placed on Harry, Voldemort's killing curse rebounds on him. We now flash forward to 1991, Harry's first year at Hogwarts. Snape sees the 11-year-old Harry Potter for the first time during the Sorting Hat ceremony. Snape develops a hatred towards Harry due to his resemblance to his father, James Potter. During potions class, Snape picks on Harry as a way to get back at James, who bullied him at school. In turn, this makes Harry start to hate Snape. We're going to jump over the events of the Philosopher's Stone to the end of the Goblet of Fire, as everything revolving Snape in that period happened in a linear fashion. At the end of the Goblet of Fire, which takes place in 1995, Harry returns from the final task of the Triwizard Tournament with the news that Voldemort has returned. Following which, Dumbledore informs Snape that he will have to resume his role of being a double agent. When Snape returns to Voldemort, he's able to successfully convince him that he's still on his side. During the next while, Snape passes information on the Death Eaters to the Order of the Phoenix. We now move on to the events taking place during the Half-Blood Prince. In 1996, Albus Dumbledore attempts to destroy a Horcrux and is fatally cursed. Snape is able to limit the effects of the curse long enough for Dumbledore to survive another year. In the same month, Snape is approached by Narcissa Malfoy and Bellatrix Lestrange, resulting which, Snape makes an unbreakable vow to kill Dumbledore if Draco Malfoy, who Voldemort had given the task to, fails to do so. Snape approaches Draco Malfoy under the guise of wanting to help him in his task. They are overheard by Harry, making him suspect Snape. Snape, of course, discloses the conditions of the unbreakable vow to Dumbledore. He initially disapproves of Dumbledore's suggestion that when the time comes, he should kill him. But Dumbledore manages to get Snape to agree, not wanting to turn Draco Malfoy into a killer, or being subject to whatever Voldemort might do to him if he fails in his task. When the Death Eaters enter Hogwarts, and Snape follows after them to the Astronomy Tower, he finds Dumbledore cornered by Draco Malfoy, Bellatrix Lestrange, and the other Death Eaters. Acting on both his promise to both Dumbledore and his unbreakable vow to Narcissa Malfoy, Snape kills Dumbledore. Harry, who was also at the Astronomy Tower, but staying hidden under Dumbledore's instructions, believes that Snape killed Dumbledore because he was a Death Eater all along. We now move on to the events of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which take place in 1997. Snape uses a Confundus charm on an Order of the Phoenix member, Mundungus Fletcher, to suggest moving Harry from the Dursleys to the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix on a specific date. Later, Snape attends a Death Eater meeting where he divulges the date Harry will be moved. Snape does this to ensure that Voldemort trusts him with absolute certainty. Snape accompanies the Death Eaters during their ambush of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, during which Snape discreetly protects the members of the Order of the Phoenix. However, Snape accidentally hits George Weasley with a curse while aiming for another Death Eater. As a result, George Weasley loses an ear, and the members of the Order of the Phoenix think Snape was trying to kill him. In September 1997, Voldemort is now in power, and Snape is appointed as headmaster of Hogwarts. When Snape learns from the portrait of Phineas Black that Harry and Hermione are in the Forest of Dean, he goes there and places the Sword of Gryffindor in a frozen pool and uses his Patronus to guide Harry to its location. When Harry returns to Hogwarts, the students and teachers loyal to Dumbledore stage a revolt and dispose of Snape as headmaster. This starts the Battle of Hogwarts. Shortly after, Voldemort summons Snape to the Shrieking Shack. Voldemort erroneously believes that Snape is the master of the Elder Wand because he killed Dumbledore. Voldemort believes that Snape's death will make him the master of the wand, so he kills Snape by having his pet snake Nagini fatally bite him. After Voldemort leaves, Harry finds the dying Snape, who gives him his memories. When Harry looks through Snape's entire life in the pensive, he learns about Snape's true allegiance. After Harry defeats Voldemort, he makes sure that Severus Snape is acknowledged as a hero and has his portrait installed in the headmaster's office at Hogwarts. So that's a summary of Snape's timeline. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, feel free to let me know if there are any specific topics you would like me to cover in an upcoming video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one, where I'll be talking about the top 10 coolest rooms at Hogwarts.